What up? This is my WWE Cyber Sunday 2008 pay-per-view predictions. The opening match is going to be Shelton Benjamin defending the United States Heavyweight title between the fans picking between three wrestlers, and those three are MVP, R-Truth, or Festus. Obviously, R-Truth is going to pick up the fans' vote. Him and Shelton Benjamin, I do feel, are going to have a good match. Unfortunately, this is not going to be aired on the pay-per-view, but you will be able to see it through WWE on WWE.com through a WWE webcast starting at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time on their website. And no matter which way this match goes, obviously with it not being on the pay-per-view, if there's a title change, which I do see R-Truth picking up the victory, defeating Shelton Benjamin, and becoming the new United States Heavyweight Champion. That when the pay-per-view starts, when the commentators are hyping up the card, they'll obviously say, moments ago, this is what happened between the match when Shelton Benjamin defended the United States Heavyweight title against the fans' vote, which most likely it's going to be R-Truth. R-Truth, like I said, feel he's going to become the United States Heavyweight Champion. Should be at least a decent match, probably 10 to 15 minutes, but unfortunately it's not going to be airing on the pay-per-view, which is the only bad part of it, but it is going to be on WWE's site right before the pay-per-view starts. Then the match that's going to officially start the pay-per-view presentation of the show is Matt Hardy defending the ECW heavyweight title against the fans' vote of three wrestlers, and it's either going to be Evan Bourne, Mark Henry, or Finlay. Obviously, with Evan Bourne being as over as he is, he's going to win the fans' vote. He isn't going to pick up the victory against Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is going to keep a hold of the title, but thankfully we'll get a good quality ECW title match. And it obviously, like I said, this probably most likely will be the opener of the show, so should get a good exciting opener between these two. Probably be a lot of good fast-paced back and forth action. Like I said, Evan Bourne isn't going to pick up the victory, but it should be a good match. Definitely finally glad that Matt Hardy's going to at least most likely have a pay-per-view match on a WWE pay-per-view that's actually going to be a good quality match, not him and Mark Henry again. Should be a good match, and don't really care. Evan Bourne is over, and obviously, he shouldn't pick up the victory anyway. Build him up a little more. Then, if they want to give him the ECW title, give him the ECW title. I would most likely, I would much rather have him just switch to the Raw brand and have him and Rey Mysterio team up and go after the tag titles against Rhodes and DiBiase. I think them two would have a great feud together, and Rey Mysterio and Evan Bourne are both great wrestlers, and when they have been teaming up on Raw, they've been doing a good job, and I don't understand why WWE's not making them a permanent tag team, because this whole Rey Mysterio and Kane feud, at least in my opinion, isn't working. So, like I said, I see Matt Hardy retaining the ECW title. Then the next match up is the fans pick the match. The fans get to choose between three different tag team matches, and it's Rhodes and DiBiase versus CM Punk and Kofi Kingston as one choice. Then Mickie James and Jamie Noble versus Regal and Layla as another choice. Then the final and third choice, which is the one that I feel the fans will vote for, and that's Crime Time versus John Morrison and The Miz. This should be a good match. It's going to be more of a good, enjoyable match to watch. Match quality is not going to be that great because Crime Time is more that sports entertainment tag team, but they are over with the crowd, so that's the main reason why I see fans voting for that match over the Rhodes and DiBiase versus Punk and Kofi Kingston match, just because they've been kind of building this feud up for a little while on the Raw and ECW brand, and obviously with the WWE web shows that both of them got, and basically been building it up that way. And from this last Raw, it would make the most sense if that's the one that the fans vote for. But maybe because the titles are on the line with Rhodes and DiBiase versus Punk and Kofi Kingston, that possibly could go. So this is one of those matches, actually, even though WWE most likely, rigs this and rigs it in a way where fans will obviously vote for, one of the choices that, overlaps the other two. But this is one of those matches on here that could possibly go either way, but I do see Crime Time versus John Morrison, The Miz, definitely picking up the victory. And I see Crime Time defeating John Morrison and The Miz. and that'll be the match that the fans will vote for. Just like I said, because Crime Time is the most over tag team in WWE, even though WWE's tag division is pretty much non-existent. On Raw, they've been trying to help it a little bit, but still, it's not that great on there either. Then you got the Divas Halloween costume contest, which is going to be a 5 to 10 minute waste on the pay-per-view. Don't understand why they're putting it on the pay-per-view. I guess they've done this I knew they did it last year, and they probably did it the year before. I don't know why this isn't just going to be put on, SmackDown or Raw. It's waste of being on the pay-per-view. If I have to give a prediction, I guess, it's Candice or Maria. They'll win it, or Mickie James. But Mickie James is already supposed to be in another match. I don't know if she'll get in this, but who cares? I mean, it's just going to be a 5-10 minute waste on a pay-per-view. Then the next matchup is a match I'm not looking forward to, just because I think these two put on terrible, terrible matches against each other, and that's Undertaker versus Big Show. And the stipulations choices for this match are either a knockout match, an I Quit match, and a last man standing match. And I feel that with the way the match ended at the Unforgiven pay-per-view with, or the No Mercy pay-per-view, with the whole knockout punch that Big Show did to Undertaker, they'll probably have the fans probably will vote for that. In this one, Undertaker will get his revenge and win by knockout. But the thing that doesn't make any sense here, because I'm not understanding the rules of the knockout stipulation. I don't know if it's just, is it like a boxing match and if you get knocked down with a punch and you don't get up in 10 seconds, do you lose it, or is it going to be like a boxing match where they're going to have to be wearing gloves? And if they do that, that's going to look really fucking stupid. And, last man standing match is pretty much the same stipulations. The opponent don't get up by the 10 count, he loses. So don't understand why they're got both of those gimmicks in there, which pretty much just have different names, but are pretty much the same stipulations and, a wrestling match. And then you got Rey Mysterio versus Kane in another match where the fans pick the stipulations, either a false count anywhere match, no DQ, or 2 out of 3 falls match. And I see Rey Mysterio picking up the victory in here, and it most likely will be a false count anywhere match. Should possibly be a good match, but it's one of those feuds that I think, some fans like. I'm not that much of a fan of this feud, and I think they need to hurry up and just end this feud. And like I said, have Rey Mysterio and Evan Bourne be a tag team and do something good in the tag ranks, and just have Kane as a mid-carder. I don't think anyone wants to see Kane as a main eventer. There's probably some portion of the fans that do, but I don't want to see him as a main eventer. I think at best, he should be a pretty much mid-card wrestler, mid-card jobber at best. Even though, I know some fans like him, but in my opinion, he's never been that good of a wrestler, and his character that he hasn't pretty much been over with the fans in a long time. He's very, very stale. Then the next matchup which is probably earlier on, I'm just reading the way I wrote these down, and that's Santino Marella defending the IC title against the fans choose the wrestler, and it's going to be between Roddy Piper, the Honky Tonk Man, and let me see, and Goldust. I do see Honky Tonk Man picking up the fans voting this. Don't know if it's necessarily going to be him. Some people have said that it might be Charlie Haas playing one of these gimmicks, which really wouldn't shock me if they go that route. Because if they do the Honky Tonk Man as actually him, I think it would be bad timing to do it now. It's one of those things I think that they should build up Santino's reign and have him hold it for a long time. Wait until almost the last couple weeks, because even though I'm not a fan of his wrestling, he's good on the mic, and he is pretty much over with the crowd. The way he does his comical stuff. So and it's just the IC title, so I don't really care if he holds it that long. I don't really have a problem with it. It's been worse IC champions than him, probably, WWE's lineage. So, and, like the WWE is now today, the IC title don't mean anything. So it's okay if he holds it that long. And I do feel he is going to be at the Honky's reign. And, like I said, I do see Charlie Haas probably portraying the character of Honky Tonk Man, and Santino obviously is going to keep a hold of the IC title. Then the last 2 matches are the World Heavyweight title matches. The first World title match is the WWE title match with Triple H defending the title against the fans pick the match, and it's going to be either him versus Jeff Hardy, him versus Kozlov, or him versus Jeff Hardy and Kozlov in a triple threat. Even though I feel fans will vote for Jeff Hardy, for some reason I feel that fans will, or at least, the way, even though, WWE always rigs these votings and it's just WWE picking and claiming that the fans vote for it. So I feel that whatever way this goes, fans, WWE, whatever you want to call it, it's going to end up being a triple threat. Triple H will keep a hold of the title, and he'll probably pin Kozlov. Like I said, know at this point, as far as TV, know he's got pinned at house shows, but not on TV yet. So Triple H will most likely be the first person to pin Kozlov, which I don't have no problem with, because Kozlov is one of those guys that I do not ever want to see world champion, and the way he's been kind of pushed, and he looks like he's going to get even a bigger push at some point down the line, it will not shock me if WWE makes him world champion. But as I said, I do see Triple H keeping a hold of the title no matter which way it goes, either a triple threat or him versus Jeff Hardy. Another reason why I think it's going to be the triple threat over Jeff Hardy taking on him one-on-one is, instead of Triple H defeating Jeff Hardy and pinning him yet again, and Jeff Hardy not winning the title, it will not really hurt Jeff Hardy's credibility if Triple H pins Kozlov in a triple threat, and Jeff Hardy doesn't really have anything to say, doesn't really come in the conclusion of the match or anything like that. Because I feel that even though I do not want him as world champion, and do not really think he deserves to be world champion, I know he's over with the fans. I will at least admit that, but I don't really want to see Jeff Hardy as world champion. But I feel that with the triple threat, they'll do something where they'll keep building up Jeff Hardy and Triple H taking on each other sometime in the future. And I do feel that at some point, this whole Triple H versus Jeff Hardy feud's going to, come full circle, and Jeff Hardy will end up sometime, possibly the Rumble, or, maybe they'll even hold it off to WrestleMania, him defeating Triple H and finally holding on to the world title, even though it's a very, very big risk for WWE. But some people have said that it's worth the risk. I don't necessarily think it is, but some think it's worth the risk. And WWE, they'll just look at it as, okay, maybe we can do this once, get a good amount of money from it. If it don't work out and he gets suspended or something like that, just have him drop the title at the next TV taping after wherever he wins it or anything like that, or something like that happens during his title reign. But if it's him and Triple H, could be a good quality match. The triple threat with Kozlov being involved in it, it's going to be a probably terrible triple threat. Maybe not terrible, but Kozlov's inclusion of it will really, really hurt the match. Then the main event is the World Heavyweight title match with Chris Jericho versus Batista, with the fans pick the referee, with the fans picking between either Randy Orton, HBK Shawn Michaels, or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin's obviously going to win the fans' vote. And some way or another, Chris Jericho is going to find some way to hold on to the world title, maybe during the match when Austin's trying to restrain Batista or something, get him out of the corner, or some line in the match where Chris Jericho is about to get speared by Batista. Jericho moves out the way, pushes Austin in the way, and Austin gets speared. That gets him knocked out, and Jericho then hits the code breaker and defeats Batista, and has, basically did what Austin did back in the day, getting the referee and just counting 1, 2, 3 by himself. I feel that's probably the way it's going to end. Or some way or another, like I said, Chris Jericho is going to find some way to hold on to the world title, and that's the way it's going to go. So, other than the United States Heavyweight title, I don't see any titles on this pay-per-view changing hands. Card-wise, it looks like it could be at least a decent pay-per-view, because I am looking forward to, most likely it's going to be Matt Hardy versus Evan Bourne, which should be a very good match, and Batista versus Chris Jericho could be good. Everything else looks at least decent, so it could turn out maybe to be a decent pay-per-view. It's not, card-wise, I wouldn't highly recommend people just from the card, the way the card looks. Don't necessarily think it's going to do that good buys, but some people might want to buy it because, Austin's refereeing, and a lot of people are fans of Austin, or just because of the whole fans voting stipulation of the pay-per-view. So that might entice some people to buy it. Card-wise, I would say it's probably one of those WWE throwaway pay-per-views, but hopefully it turns out to be a good pay-per-view. Like I said, from the card-wise, it looks like it's going to be decent, and that's it for my WWE Cyber Sunday 2008 predictions.